Good morning, Horizon. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning as we are following Jesus through Jerusalem in the book of Luke. This morning, I have the pleasure of going through Luke 13, verses 31 through 35. At that very hour, some Pharisees came and said to him, "Get away from here, for Herod wants to kill you." And he said to them, "Go and tell that fox, behold, I cast out demons and perform cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I finish my course. Nevertheless, I must go on my way today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet should perish away from Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often would I have gathered your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. Behold, your house is forsaken, and I tell you, you will not see me until you say, 'Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.'" In this passage, Jesus demonstrates a practice that we have greatly lost, and that practice is lament. So I'm going to go back. We're going to focus on verse 34 this morning, and I'm just going to read that one more time. "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often would I have gathered your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing." In this verse, Jesus laments over Jerusalem. He recalls the ways that Jerusalem is not what he wishes it to be, or the ways that he wants to care deeply for Jerusalem. That even he, the Messiah, the one who heals and teaches, is being persecuted for teaching on the Sabbath. This is how Preet shared with us on Monday. In verse 34, Jesus cries out. He remembers the ways in which he would have cared for Jerusalem and the ways that he wishes to care and love deeply for Jerusalem. On Sunday nights with the youth, we're going through a series throughout the season of Lent called Renew and Restore, which is us looking at the practices that Jesus practices over his 40 days in the desert before he starts ministry. These are some different practices of spiritual formation. But as if we have been looking at this idea of renewal and restoration, I keep thinking about what it means to renew things that are lost and restore things that are broken. And I believe that as we are searching for renewal and restoration in our souls and our bodies and our minds and our hearts and in our communities, we also need to find this practice of lament as one of our spiritual practices. Today is March 19th, and if you will think back to just about a year ago, we had our first fully online service on March 22nd. So if we think back over this last year, there's things that we have all lost. Some things might seem greater than others. Some of us have lost family members. Some of us have lost graduations or weddings. Some of us have lost school years. Some of us have lost, our children have lost their first year of kindergarten and are now struggling to learn how to read. And throughout all of this loss, I invite us to learn to lament. Identify what we've lost. Jesus identified the loss of Jerusalem in verse 34 and the ways in which he wishes it was. And so, wherever you are at, I invite you, and Jesus invites you to lament right beside him. I have a hard time lamenting. I often don't know the words to express my laments to the Lord, and so I have learned to turn to the Psalms. The Psalms have given me the words that I need to express my laments to the Lord, and to prepare my heart to lament for the Lord. And so one thing that I will sometimes do is I will read them and I will journal with them, but sometimes I just need to say those words to the Lord. And so one of the Psalms that I turn back to in my times of lament is Psalm 13. So I'm going to read that for us this morning and invite you to use Psalm 13 or another Psalm of lament to frame your laments during this season. As we're preparing our hearts to celebrate Easter, I invite us to find renewal and restoration by practicing lament in this season. So I'm just going to read Psalm 13 for us this morning. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed over him. lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken. But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. Lament is hard and it is painful. And so I invite you to use these words and to frame your laments and come to the Lord with your laments as we're preparing our hearts for the celebration of the resurrection and all the wonderful ways that Jesus has loved us and cared for us and all the things that he has done for us. Grace and peace.